guys, and welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse. Like the reporter Ryan. I am J-Man. This edition of Pulse will give you our first installment of our Pro Wrestling Pulse Dream Card series. We and Quaddy did our little intro video and explaining everything and the concept and everything that we're going to be doing here. We got comments, suggestions of what they wanted to see. As of today, the one that showed up the most, there was a lot of, even though Robert, who's a part of our show, tried to comment, he's not allowed, he's a part of the show. Looked like it was going to be heading towards WWE versus New Japan, but it ended up heading towards WWE versus Ring of Honor. So the first in our Dream Card series will be the World Wrestling Entertainment versus Ring of Honor Wrestling. That sounded fucking super retarded to say it that way. Just WWE versus Ring of Honor is going to be our first Dream Card in the series here. And we have 8 matches, both of us. We both have no idea what each other have. No clue what matches that we got going on.
We're going to see how much our
we're going to see how much on the same
is...
wavelength we got here. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds because we have no idea what each other have. And you guys are all going to be seeing the exact same time that we do. One thing that we did decide that we aren't going to do triple threats, 4-ways, stipulations, whatever the fuck, all that kind of stuff. We kept pretty much everything singles matches, tag teams versus tag teams, guys versus guys, whatever. Nothing like any crazy shit. So we kept it all that way. Another big thing that we did, we have people who are injured current day are available. So you'll see names like a Daniel Bryan or who the fuck else is hurt? Or Jericho. Jericho is another name who is listed on Ring of Honor, listed on WWE. As being able to compete, and so he is on there. I know he's in Japan working shows and stuff like that. So
we're not using NXT roster guys.
No, we're not using NXT roster guys. NXT is its own individual entity, and we will be getting to those further down the series. But so it's just strictly WWE roster. We have injured guys, and we have guys that maybe get exclusive kind of deals, like a Jericho, or whatever the case may be. We're gonna go ahead and kick this. I'm gonna kick this started off with the first match here on my WWE versus Ring of Honor Dream Card. And the first match that I have would be the Man the Gravity Forgot Neville going up against ACH. To me, it's a perfect way to start a card. You get high-paced, fast action with these guys that can hit some great spots. Guys that really are just known for being the spot guys in their company. ACH, a guy who, in the lines of a Jack Evans and a Seidel and those kind of guys that, paved the way as far as, the high spot type guys in Ring of Honor. ACH is for sure the guy that you look at as being like that, and Neville is totally taking that place in WWE right now. I think it'd be a great way to start the card, and I think it'd be a hell of a match. It'd be some good stuff.
Yeah, I was just gonna throw out there. We made these cards, dream matches, but also I'm gonna throw out while we're doing these. Some undream matches.
Just random shit.
Some random matches that I think would either be hilarious or if they happen, it'd be a train wreck. I'll throw those out really quick. I'm not going to talk about them very much, but definitely Moose versus Ryback. That'd be a massacre and horrible, so and I would love to see that.
Right.
And this seems kind of interesting, but the character mesh and what they would do, like not the actual wrestling, but just like their characters in the ring would just be hilarious to me. Just Dalton Castle and Bray Wyatt. I just feel like
awesome.
I just feel like that would be hilarious.
That would be fucking hilarious.
But also, I want to mention as well. Let us know our cards as well, like what you guys think, who you thought had a better card in your opinion, and also list.
Matches that you guys matches that you guys want to see from WWE and Ring of Honor or Dream Card stuff like that. We'll see what you guys got.
My first match I have to open this show would be Dolph Ziggler versus Michael Elgin.
Good stuff.
I think Ziggler does a really good job with bigger guys. I think that he takes getting beat up really well, and it always seems good in a comeback. Obviously in WWE he doesn't get those comeback wins, but I feel like these two guys working together would just be kind of entertaining to see Elgin just do a bunch of crazy power spots. Him, Ziggler keep kicking out and just have like a good just match, they just put it on the line, no silliness, just them out there just working, you know what I mean?
Right. That would kind of be along the same lines. I know a guy that's had a really, pretty much Michael Elgin's best matches was just Davey Richards.
Yeah.
A guy that, Elgin's really good at working with the smaller guys. I think that same lines as a Ziggler would be.
I do want to mention that it was between this match and ACH versus Neville as my opener.
Really?
Yeah. I actually did not put that match on the card as a whole. I actually had like 10 matches, 11 matches total.
Yeah, it's same here. Yep.
I ended up going with this one as my opener instead.
Yep.
But that's
there
what
you
I got.
go. Some save wavelength, so you can go ahead and start too.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So the second match I have is a little bit more the high pace. Like he did that match as the opener. Then my second match is going to be the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Dragons. I got that. Just a spot style tag match, fun match to kind of just get things like going. I feel like are we gonna do like winners or losers?
No, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Just how the card's set up.
Yep, just yeah.
Yeah, the Young Bucks versus Lucha Dragons. Just a great, just like on paper, a great high spot style matches with a lot of crazy stuff going on. I think that'd be super fun.
That'd be great. Yeah, that was definitely one that I was tossing up once we get to my Young Bucks match on this card. My second match on the card was actually involving Ryan's first guy in one of his matches, which is Dolph Ziggler going up against Matt Seidel. Another, continuing along the lines of a fast-paced type match. I, of course, love those type of matches, but guys that can really go in their work. I think Matt Seidel is an underrated guy when it comes to in the ring and actually, getting down and working. And I think he could blend well with a Ziggler. And the Ziggler, like he said, works well against big guys, but one thing you don't see a lot of is him being able to be the bigger guy in the match. You don't see a lot of that. So I think that's an interesting little facet that you don't see with Ziggler, and I think it'd be interesting to see him in there with a guy that is that could go in there and have a great match with a guy like Dolph Ziggler. These guys are just, in amazing shape and could go in there and not only have a nice little high-flying type matchup, but it also can get on the ground and work and produce just a great wrestling match. So that I think this would be, some good stuff here, and the kind of the styles that kind of blend well and kind of have the high flying, but he still can work with a Seidel and a guy who's a great worker that can do some stuff, different outside of that in a Ziggler. So I think that'd be a fun one to do. With that, next up, my third match in the card. This is the spot for a Young Bucks match that I fit in here. I only have one tag match on this show. I was going to do another match, but I ended up splitting up one of the tag teams and breaking them into a singles matchup. So this is my one and only tag match on this show. And I have Cesaro and Tyson Kidd going up against the Young Bucks. This was one that I was tossing up on whether it was between the Lucha Dragons, the Usos, and Cesaro and Kidd. I think all would be magnificent matches. You can't really go wrong with any of those. But to me, it was just the effort to get Cesaro on the card because I didn't really have any other places for him. I don't know. I was trying to. I know one thing that I think, which you said, you don't have Owens on the card either.
Yeah,
and that's another thing. We both don't have Kevin Owens on the card. Now, obviously, will we have Kevin Owens on any of our cards anywhere? Absolutely. But it's just one of those things.
Who's in Ring of Honor?
Yeah, we've seen him work with every single one of these guys in Ring of Honor, so we're trying to find something new and do some different stuff. Of course, it's a dream card. It's not a dream if you've seen all these fucking matches happen before. It was just my effort to get Cesaro on the card, and that's really all I really wanted to do. And to see Cesaro just throw around the Young Bucks and do all that kind of shit, and Tyson Kidd be able to work with those guys, and Young Bucks being able to work around, just great workers. Because to me, I think when you look at the tag division in WWE, I think Cesaro and Kidd, thrown in the tag division, are two of the best workers that you got. Go in there, and of course the unfortunate injury suffered with Tyson Kidd. But I think you could not only have a nice little high spots and stuff in this match, but you could just get down and have a great wrestling tag match. With these guys too, because that's what Cesaro and Kidd provide, but the Young Bucks obviously providing the amazing spots and everything that they do. So Cesaro and Kidd versus Young Bucks, my third match on my card.
Yeah. So for my third match, I got Chris Jericho versus Jay Lethal. I just feel like over the last year, 2 years, as Jay Lethal has progressed as a wrestler, he just seems like he's such a veteran guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like just a young X Division guy. He seems like he's like super seasoned as a character, as a in-ring competitor. Like, I just feel like this would be a great like catch as catch can wrestling match. Lethal has his cool, innovative moves that he does, but I just feel like it just seems, even though Lethal's obviously younger than Jericho, he just seems like a veteran. Yeah. He just seems like he just can come out there and just. It seemed like he had been wrestling for 20 years.
And really, it's something that really these guys, both of those guys, can draw parallels to each other, because that's the same thing Chris Jericho did. Right. Chris Jericho, a guy who worked himself up from the Cruiserweight division and then made himself into a main eventer by just changing who he was, the look, everything, the appearance, and everything like that, and making himself into a main eventer the same way that Jay Lethal did.
Yeah, I love Jay Lethal right now.
Yeah,
as one of the best guys in Ring of Honor right now, and what he's done in deservedly be where he's at right now. But yeah, I just think this match would be great. I think they would have great chemistry. I think it'd be just one of those like you just look at them and just like they would just work well together.
Yep.
So that's why I just thought it'd be good. So
that was your fourth or your
my third.
Your third. Okay, so your fourth.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, it was fourth. Yep.
Yeah.
So my next match is going to be Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole.
Nice.
I like Daniel Bryan has there's not too many guys on the independent scene that he hasn't faced. Top name tier guys. I feel like Adam Cole was starting to pick up steam around the time Daniel Bryan left.
Yep.
He came back to the Indies. He was probably doing some things, but I feel like these guys have. I want to say they don't think they've had a high profile independent style match against each other. Where Adam Cole is right now, he's like at the top of his game. Like he's just one of those guys when you think about a guy to be a main eventer on the independent scene, he can go anywhere and do that. And I just get that vibe like Adam Cole's going to be that like independent, superhero, like just like Dan Bryan, where he's just going to be on the indie scene for a long time. He's finally going to get that call up, and he's still a real young guy too.
Yep.
He'll get that call up, and he'll the fans will be behind him because they know he's an indie guy, and they know he's going to have that Daniel Bryan, CM Punk vibe behind him. And I think this is a dream match that I feel like quite a few people would love to see, and it's just like the top indie guy, one of the if not the top indie guy, doing it in Ring of Honor, the Daniel Bryan of Ring of Honor right now, obviously, against Daniel Bryan. So what I got is my fourth match.
Yeah, that was out of the two Daniel Bryan matches that I thought of, that was my second choice. Was him and Adam Cole, because again with Kevin Owens, we've seen everything. With Bryan, you've seen him work with all those kind of the Rodericks and the AJs. Even though it was a long time ago, that would have been another great choice. But you've just seen him work with everybody. But I actually have Daniel Bryan in my fourth match. I have Daniel Bryan going up against Kyle O'Reilly. Reason being just because of the pure wrestling just spectacle that they could put on. I mean, that's just wrestling at its best, in my opinion. And somebody that, to me, took over the Daniel Bryan role in Ring of Honor of being a great worker. Because that's what Kyle O'Reilly's made himself into. To me, I just think when it comes to technical wrestling, one of the first names, if not the first name on the indie scene right now that comes to mind is Kyle O'Reilly. And a guy that, if I ever thought, a year or so ago that I'd be put on a dream card, I'd be like, yeah, probably not. But he has just built himself up to be just an outstanding wrestler, an amazing worker. He's a cardio machine, and you could tell the training and everything, hanging around with Davey and everything that's done to him. But he has just molded himself into just an outstanding, independent, amazing worker. And to go in there with the Daniel Bryan, now he'll probably have to help me. They probably have touched sometime down the road, but to an extent of where Kyle O'Reilly's at now, is totally different. It's a totally rejuvenated and totally different match. So this is probably the best pure wrestling match that I could probably provide on this show. Maybe a couple others, can maybe get up to par with it. But as far as pure get in the ring and the technical ability of both of these guys can just be outstanding. So I would absolutely love to see Daniel Bryan and Kyle O'Reilly, and that's my fourth match on this card. Fifth match is really, he just had Adam Cole. And of course, I'm going to have Adam Cole on my card. But I was trying to find something that, would be something that, if I was like, okay, guys are just throwing their names that just, and the look and everything like that, I was like, yeah, this would just be fucking, great to see a one-on-one face down of. I have Randy Orton versus Adam Cole in this matchup here. As far as the wrestling would probably go in this, and in the match and the quality of it, probably depending on how it would go. Of course, this is a dream card, so we're not sitting here and ever going to happen, or it probably could happen down the road if Adam Cole ever goes to WWE. But I would say the quality isn't going to be the best on this card, but just as far as the name matchup and as far as the character matchup of, Adam Cole playing that young, cocky, arrogant, ignorant heel that Randy Orton, made his name on, in Evolution and breaking off and doing his singles run and everything like that. That's basically Adam Cole. That's everything he does. He plays an amazing heel and the arrogant, cocky, good-looking fucking guy that is just an asshole and beats you by whatever means possible and this and that. To me, that's just, Randy Orton, the veteran version of that versus the, the new age version of that here. So So I think it could be a great match, and it's really just a match of characters and styles and who they are as people, and another effort to try and get Randy Orton on a card and an Adam Cole on a card. So I think a great one would have been, an Adam Cole and Bryan. I think this one would be, extremely interesting too as far as the characters and matchup and everything goes. So that was my 5th match on the card.
Yeah, so for my 5th match, I have Dean Ambrose versus Roderick Strong. This is I kind of flip-flopped a couple matches, and this is kind of like these two guys were kind of just left out in the air, like what I want to do, and I started thinking about them. I was like, oh, I'll just throw these guys together. I feel like these guys that might have hooked up on the independent scene somewhere down the line. I can't seem to think of a time where it did.
Right.
But I could just see this being a super gritty, just like strong style, beat the shit out of each other style match where they just hit each other. Like this, I don't expect this. I would never expect this to be just on the ground, wrestling match. This is a fight. Backbreakers, slaps, punches, weapons, whatever. We didn't put gimmicks on any of these,
right.
But down the line, like I feel like this match would be a no DQ match or something. I wouldn't be like falls count anywhere, barbed wire, dildo match, like something crazy like that. No, like especially dildos.
No, not the dildos.
No, that's too much.
No, that's a lot.
But this is a fight, and I think these guys just going out there and just having a fight, a no disqualification fight, would be just some really entertaining stuff to see.
Yep.
And then my 6th match, this was one of the first matches I thought of when we started thinking about this. I don't know, I just feel like the interaction between these teams would just be, I get like a one-upsman kind of approach for this, but Red Dragon versus Kid and Cesaro.
Yep, that was another one. Yep.
I just get like a vibe of just like, I don't know, them like trying to one-up each other, like just, and then like both being, like I feel like they would just both be like cocky shithead heels against each other, and kind of just like who can be douchier, but then like put on, by being douchier, like being better team, you know what I mean? Like being crazy and doing all kinds of amazing spots,
right,
and beating the shit out of each other. But yeah, this is the one that I just feel like would be a crazy strong style match. Cesaro would just be throwing those guys around. Tyson Kidd would just be. I'd love to just see. I almost use Tyson Kidd in a singles match. Like I just wanted to. He just is one of those guys I feel like is like left in the dark, and just
extremely underrated.
Underrated, and there's a lot of guys I'd like to see him against. But yeah, Kid and Cesaro versus Red Dragon is a match that, like, as soon as we started thinking about this, was a match that I just had in my mind I wanted to use.
Yeah, before I broke off Kyle O'Reilly to go with Daniel Bryan, that was the one that I was going to do too. To me, it's like a new version of the Kings and the Wolves.
Right.
That pretty much has that feel of that. It has that really one-upsmanship, who's the better team, and the unit and everything. It really has that feel. That'd be great. My 6th one, this was another one that, Ryan said he's the one that quickly circled. This was like the 2nd or 3rd match that I had in my mind because I've thought about it for a very long time, and I think it would just be a fucking awesome, just technical fucking great match. I have Chris Jericho going up against Roderick Strong. I think this would be outstanding. Two guys that are equal in pretty much every way you could possibly think in the ring. Obviously, Jericho and the character and the charisma and everything like that, he's got that covered. But you match these guys up, get them in the ring together, I mean, you're not really separating too much from each other. I mean, as far as the technical work goes, the stamina and everything goes like that. The ability, how they move in the ring, everything, their body types. That's one big thing that when I think of Dream Match is the match of body types and how they look and how they match up to each other. Yeah, there are a lot of kind of one-sided where guys, you'll be like, oh, how the fuck is this going to work? And it ends up being, gold. Kevin Steen and El Generico and everything, they went together and they're just totally polar opposites. They go in the ring. They just have amazing chemistry and stuff like that. But to me, one thing I always just think of, like, just go in there. These guys are equal. These guys are even. Who's the best? And I think as far as, technical wrestling goes and just making an outstanding match and telling a great story, these guys could easily do that. So my 6th match is Chris Jericho and Roderick Strong. 7th match, this is the one that, to me, I think if WWE can pull off, this is the one I think that they would love to pull off because they love showing polar opposites, and they pull it off great. And to me, I mean, you can't really get too much polar opposite than these guys. We have John Cena going up against Jay Briscoe. To me, I just think this would be fucking awesome. I think the match would be great. I think if built up in a feud, it would be an outstanding feud to be able to have Jay Briscoe just cut promos on John Cena, and just Jay Briscoe cutting promos in general is amazing, but to be able to cut promos on John Cena is even more so. And again, just how great, going along the lines with how great John Cena is with people that are absolute polar opposites in him. The Kevin Owens, the CM Punks, the Daniel Bryans, the list goes on, and the amazing matches he put on. I think this would be outstanding, and I think it would be a great story on top of a great match. So yeah, I was trying to think of just things to do with John Cena, and again, it's the prototypical WWE guy versus the absolute Ring of Honor guy in Jay Briscoe, because he's Ring of Honor through and through. So, and that was kind of one of my things. If there was dream matches, that's one thing you would probably do with a John Cena. You would match John Cena up as the WWE guy, and you'd probably have him face every person in the company that is their guy. To me, that's, I think, Jay Briscoe in a nutshell, he pretty much is Ring of Honor, and obviously John Cena is WWE. So, great match, and another one that you would kind of want a prolonged thing to see a feud out of, because, it would just be fucking awesome, the promos and everything, the story they could tell with everything. I think it'd be a great match. So my 7th match, and sub-main on my card, John Cena and Jay Briscoe.
Yeah, so for my 7th match, I have this one, and I knew as soon as I wrote this one down, this was something that Jay Mizzle over here, get a little boner on. Be AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. I feel like they literally wrestle the same style. I feel like if you replaced Seth Rollins with AJ Styles in WWE and Seth Rollins was in New Japan, it would literally just feel exactly the same. Yep. Just like the way they both work, the style that they just, I just feel like when you look at guys like, you just know, like, those are the two guys, like, obviously Benoit and Angle. Like, you look at them and you're just like, okay, well, those guys, you get those guys in the ring, and then they're just like, well, they're gonna put on a great piece of work. Like, it's just gonna happen. Yep. And specifically, like, I just can't seem to think of a time where these guys have worked with each other on the independent scene. Where Rollins was in Ring of Honor, AJ was in TNA doing his thing. Now that they're flipped, they just haven't. I feel like they just haven't had an opportunity where they've just both been on the independent scene or been in the same company. And that's a match that I feel like hopefully down the line actually happens, because just the quality of work itself would be outstanding for that match.
Yep.
And then
I guess get to your main event. I guess would be for now.
Yeah, that's right. So my main event is Jay Briscoe versus John Cena. Yeah. Like. That was the one. Like, as soon as this was a thing we decided, like, I already knew that was going to be my main event. That was going to be my one match. Like, it's just like they're just two guys. Like, they're not playing characters. They're like themselves. Like, and it's just they're overblown versions of themselves when they're wrestlers. But like the way Jay Briscoe is like how he is as a person. Like, yep. He's just outrageous in the way he talks, like them cutting promos on each other's and just you stupid ass white motherfucker cracker, you trying to rap and shit, you ain't no good, you would come to the hood and cut up chickens with me. Like, I'm a real gangster. Like, I could just see him just cutting promos, and just John Cena just being like cutting just a rap on Jay Briscoe and trying to be cute, and itself, like them being in the ring, just polar opposites, just beating the shit out of each other. I just think that this would be a great polar opposite style match. It just reminds me of Cena and Owens. Like, I just feel like it would just be that kind of match.
Yep.
And yeah, that would just be my main event. Like, I just feel like that'd just be the most entertaining thing for me. I just would love to see that in the ring. Just them, I don't even care if they wrestle. I just want to see them like cut promos and just stand in the ring next to each other, just fucking be dicks to each other. I just think that'd be hilarious. But on paper, that's the match I would love to see the most.
Yeah, so we basically just flip-flop. So main events here. Yeah, like Ryan said, when it comes to J-Man, you don't get much better than this. My main event is Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. To me, this is probably, because like Ryan said, they're on opposite ends of the world. Every time, any time, wherever their careers are, you find a time, they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. Rollins first starting out Ring of Honor, AJ's, rolling and, running, TNA at that time. You got Seth Rollins running WWE as the champion and everything, and then you got AJ over as champion in New Japan right now. So I mean, they're just always like it's like having two giant fucking magnets, and they can never get fucking close to each other. But when they do, it just explodes the fucking universe. This is probably my top dream match in current day wrestling, I would probably say, when it comes down to it. Like Ryan said, and he covered basically everything that I'll go ahead and say. Again, with the matchup of styles, of the body types, the just fucking athletic display that would be put on with these two would just be, fucking amazing. Because pretty much when you look at a Seth Rollins, when he first started out, he pretty much mimicked and said that he mimicked a lot of the moves that AJ Styles did, because he's a fan of AJ Styles. He was a fan of the Daniel Bryans and the Samoa Joes and the CM Punks and everything like that. Coming up in the business around that time when everybody was making their way into it, into Ring of Honor and the O2s and the early 2000s and stuff like that. So of course when you're breaking in wrestling at that time and getting into indie wrestling for sure, one of the big names at that time was an AJ Styles, of course, and being as athletic as a Seth Rollins was, of course he could coin a lot of things. I know the early careers that he does the Pele still today. He did the fucking Fosbury outside of the ring and all this kind of shit. So, there's a lot of just the athleticism alone in this. And now the ability that Seth Rollins has shown to, tell great stories with matches that AJ has always been able to do with, how he is. And, of course, a lot of these guys work better when they're kind of with opposites. But being able to throw these two in there when it comes to nobody equivalent. There's nobody equal to them when it comes to athleticism, when it comes to getting in the ring and just awing you with what they can put on. That's exactly what they would do here. And for sure would be my main event. You could flip-flop it and have Cena and Briscoe, and there'd be probably no problem with that too. That would deliver, absolutely. I'd have no doubt in my mind that it would. But to me, on the top of my card, I would have Seth Rollins and AJ Styles, and it would just be fucking phenomenal to not, no pun intended. But it just would be. And
that's just a fun fact here. Neither one of us used Brock Lesnar.
Nope, didn't use Brock Lesnar.
I thought about it.
One that we always talked about that we wanted to do with Brock Lesnar, if we got a chance to do Ring of Honor, and we didn't even talk about it, was Brock Lesnar in a handicap match against the Young Bucks.
Yeah,
because that would be fucking awesome.
If I was going to put Brock Lesnar on this card, it was going to be him versus two other people. I was going to be him versus I don't know.
Because nobody else, honestly, just looks believable. When you get in there and
right, it would have to be. It would have to be a handicap match. I can't. There's nobody, and I just can't put anybody in the ring. Nope. You put Jay Briscoe in there, but I still just
because we want to see Jay Briscoe just Jay drill Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
just make his neck a little bit shorter than it already is.
I just think it'd be super entertaining. Just watch the Young Bucks just run circles around Lesnar, and Lesnar just throw him around like ragdolls.
Get super kicks and shit, just
just flip German them and just throw them all over the place.
Him out of the ring
and then them just super kicking him and them doing all kinds of crazy high spots and he catching them in the air, just throwing them into each other. It would be super entertaining. We could just say that Brock Lesnar versus Young Bucks.
There we go. Why not? We get our 9th match on both of our cards. There you go. We'll just have the Young Bucks work double duty. Who gives a shit? They can do it. So yeah, pretty much when it gets down to the nitty gritty, we go ahead and just go sub main the exact same, except just flip flopped. Yeah, it's pretty much what happens when you get these minds put together. But yeah, so I think that went well, and we actually got it done in a decent amount of time too. So yeah, like Ryan said earlier in the video, let us know whose card you enjoyed more, or who you thought was better, or whatever the case may be, whatever the hell you want to say. And put your guys' ideas out there. What kind of cards you would put together with these two companies, or what type of matches and stuff like that, guys. If guys we didn't use, which there was plenty of them that we didn't, and we felt pretty bad about some of them. I was sitting there and be like, God damn, I want to use them, or this guy, or that team, or whatever the case may be. Because there's a lot of guys that we left off, and cutting it down to 8, I think, was a number to where you didn't have everybody that you wanted to use on there, but you had to cut it down to get okay, this is what I wanted to do for that, and I think 8's a good number to do. So we'll probably stick around that number probably for all the other ones that we end up doing. But so put your opinions on there, which ones you liked, your guys' ideas for dream matches and stuff like that. And then suggestions for, again, what you guys want to see next. And, we'll cover pretty much everything that everybody had on there. One awesome thing that I need to note that all of the suggestions that we had on that video, the first video that we did, were all different. Every single one was different. And I think that's awesome. I think that's great. That shows that everybody's got an interest in seeing something different, and we will provide everything for you guys. We'll try to get all that, the different companies and stuff like that, and tie them all together and everything. So
you're telling about the Ustream thing. Do we want to do that?
I guess we could do that for all the people watching that. We dabbled with. I have a PlayStation 4, and we were watching a bunch of people on their live broadcasts that they stream all over, and which Ustream, which just isn't on PlayStation. It's an actual thing. You can stream video or whatever the fuck. And we dabbled with it, and we actually had a lot of fun with it. It was actually pretty cool. So I don't know what exactly we're going to end up doing with it.
We've talked multiple times when we did videos about maybe like streaming us watching a wrestling pay-per-view, because it's usually pretty funny. All of us just kind of sitting down here,
especially when it's bad. It's entertaining as fuck.
Yeah, we just make fun of everything, talk shit on everything, and it's usually really entertaining.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll be watching the pay-per-views, so we won't be watching ourselves. But
right.
if
we could leave it on that and show us doing whatever the fuck we do, and still watch the show. So we don't really know
we're just kind of
what
fooling around
the
with
exacts are about that. If we get it to where if there anybody comments about it, wanting to see more of that, we'll get more kind of input on that. We'll figure out some more ideas of what we're going to end up doing with it. But it's just we gained a subscriber off of it by just fucking around playing Cards Against Humanity and having somebody be like, oh, I have a YouTube channel, I'll subscribe to you guys. Which we need to get on subscribing back to him because we said we would. But yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of another outlet. We might try some different shit on there. We never know. If we got a lot of people that are on there that do that, then who knows? It was a lot of fun, and we like fucking around with it. So we'll see where it goes in the future. But yeah, so this will wrap up our Pro Wrestling Pulse Dream Card Series, WWE versus Ring of Honor. Yeah, for my partner Ryan, I am J-Man, and thank you guys for watching another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse, the Pulse, Professional Wrestling World.